In this video, I want to talk about the slope of a line. So the slope of a line is the rate of change between points. And I made a little graph here. And the first point I'm going to point out is -4, -2. The other point is 3, -4. So we have them here. I connected the line there. And I want to talk about what the slope is. And the slope is how it's the rate of change. It's a ratio. This is the formula that you might be familiar with. If you're not, it's just going to be the difference of the y's over the difference of the x's. Again, the reason why it's the difference of the y's, so this line here is kind of how long it's changing for its distance. And you can see the length of this line would be 4 minus -2. And so that's going to be 6. So this length is 6, and that's how it's changing with the height. Now the horizontal here, that's changing with the x's, right? Because this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. So we can subtract the x-axis, which would be 3 minus -4, and we can see that that's of length 7. Okay, so that's how it's changing there. Okay, so that is the slope. That's what the slope is. And we can use this formula. It's rise over run. That's often how it's remembered. Rise over run. Rise is how this thing is increasing, and then run is how it's increasing or decreasing with the x, okay? Rise over run, so if it's going up, if it's going down. Now, the reason why it's called M, why we use M, is because the person that developed it was a French mathematician, and I believe the story is that the slope means how much is this rising or how much is it climbing, and the French word for climbing starts with M. I think it has to do with mounting or mountainous. So that's why it's M. It seems kind of silly that we wouldn't use S, but that's why we use M. So specifically to find the slope between these 2 points, we can take y2, which I'm going to say is 4, minus the -2. There's a minus sign in the formula. There's a -2 in the point. For the x's, we have 3 for x2. For x1, we have -4. There's subtraction in the formula, and then there's -4. Okay, so this is going to be 6 over 7. So the slope is 6/7. All right, that is the slope between those 2 points. Okay. Now, let's look at an example. Find the slope from the points -5, -7, and -4, -3. Okay. If you know the formula, then you don't have to graph it anymore. You can just use the formula. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, and you can pick this as y2, so -3 minus -7. There's a negative sign for the point, and there's a minus sign, subtraction sign in the formula, so we got to watch for that. Then you have -4 for x2 minus -5, because there's a minus sign in the formula and a negative sign in the point. Anyway, so -3 plus 7, this is going to become plus, this becomes plus. So we have 4, and then we have -4 plus 5, so that's 1. So the slope would just be 4. Okay, so we can say m equals 4. All right. Okay, it's pretty easy as long as you just, get a hold of that formula, or if you have it written down. Finding the slope is generally not very hard. I picked 2 examples here that would have that double negative sign. That's about as tricky as this gets. It's really not that bad. Okay, find the slope of the points that are 4, -4, and 4, -5. Well, we have our formula here. Let's see what happens. We have -5 minus -4, so again we have that double negative sign. And then we have 4 minus 4 for the x's. Okay, well the double negative sign makes that positive, And so I have negative 5 plus 4, and that becomes negative 1. And then we have 4 minus 4, and that becomes 0. Uh-oh. So when we divide by 0, that's undefined, right? We learned that in chapter 1, that the division of 0 is undefined. So this slope is undefined. M is undefined, okay? And that can happen. If you have x's that are the same, then the slope is undefined because it's not changing on the horizontal axis, okay? And that can happen sometimes. You might also imagine that, well, maybe the y's would be the same in an example. If that was true, then it would just be a 0 as opposed to undefined. Okay, next I want to go over the equation of a line. The equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. Most people remember that from their high school classes, y equals mx plus b. It's just one of those things that I guess just gets drilled in our head. The m is the slope that we've just been talking about, and the b is the y-intercept. The y-intercept, remember, is that point where the line is crossing the y-axis, and we can guarantee that x equals 0 at that point. So I wrote x equals 0 here. So the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, where b is that y-intercept, okay? Just the number, not the point, all right? Let's look at an example. So for this one, we have the example. We want to find the equation of the line that passes through the points 2, 8, and 5, 5, okay? Now the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to find the slope. So the slope is going to be 5 minus 8. Well, it looks like that's going to be negative 3. And then we have 5 minus 2. That looks like it's going to be positive 3. Okay, so it looks like we have negative 1 for our slope there. All right, now we need to find, I'm going to circle that so I don't lose it. Now I'm going to find the y-intercept. Well, since I know this is a line, and I know the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, I can fill out what I know and then solve for what I don't. So I can pick my favorite point out of these 2 points, 2, 8 or 5, 5. I'll just pick the first one, but you can pick whichever one you want. So 8 is for y here, and then we just discovered that the slope must be negative 1. The x is 2, and then plus b. And now we can just solve for b. Okay, so I have 8 equals negative 2 plus b. I can add 2 to both sides, and so I get b equals 10. All right, so that's the equation. So we found that y equals mx plus b is actually, for this specific example, is y equals negative 1x plus 10. And that is our equation of the line. All right. Yeah, so these aren't too bad. The first step when you're given 2 points is to always find the slope first. So if given 2 points, find the slope, and then you can find the y-intercept just by plugging in those values that you already have, and you can solve for b. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for this video. I don't think I have enough time for another example, so I will see you in the next video.